right, start a new sport or learn a new instrument. That's the Prime Minister's message to Aussie teens this morning as the landmark under-16 social media ban comes into effect.
And we're pleased to say Prime Minister Anthony Albanese joins us live in studio now. Prime Minister, great to see you and thanks for giving us some time this morning.
It's such a fantastic day and a proud day to be Prime Minister of Australia. This is world-leading legislation. This is families taking back ownership of what happens in their households. It is empowering parents to have those discussions with their children. It's about giving children back their childhood.
Yeah.
For some kids, it's still situation normal this morning. We've been checking in with households across the country throughout the show. Some of them have been locked out. Others are still operating as usual. Are you happy with how it's going so far?
We certainly are. The fact that we're having this discussion and all of the tech companies will comply. They will give the figures of how many young people were online, what their figures were on December 9 and then on December 11, tomorrow. And then every month they will have to give those figures over to the eSafety Commission. And so we know that this isn't simple. No one's done this before.
No. And
that's why it's so important. Doing hard things is what gives you a reward. And in this, there's nothing more important. When you have figures like 13% of young people have been encouraged to take their life online, then we have a responsibility to do something about it. And importantly, this is a reform that hasn't come from government. It's not my idea. It's the idea of parents who'd lost their young son or daughter who took that tragedy and channeled it into making a positive difference so other parents don't have to go through what they did.
It is also going to come back with some blowback as well. There'll be some people out there be like, well, my kid, that was the reason how they spoke to people is through Snapchat. They don't have their friends' phone numbers anymore. You're going to have this High Court challenge as well with two teens arguing it bans and violates their rights to freedom of political communication.
Well,
what do you say to that?
Well, are they really teens going to the High Court? Are they people who are the fronts for people who don't like this? This is a change in the power structure. These companies are powerful. We know that that is the case. And so we know that there'll be a difficult period. We are fully conscious of that. But we also know that this is necessary and this will make a positive difference going forward. And you know what? Before social media existed, shock horror, we all communicated with our friends. And we did that face-to-face like this. That's why I always like coming in the studio. I miss my Friday mornings on the Today Show.
We miss them
We miss
too.
having you here.
Yeah.
It was always fantastic. Nothing beats personal communication. And that is one of the things that children are being robbed of with their childhood, is the capacity to actually engage, know what's real and what's not real.
The algorithm has something
rise
to
of
play with
AI.
that too, you know.
Of course it does.
Well, Australia's world's first social media ban has officially begun, requiring major platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, to take reasonable steps in preventing under-16s from having accounts.
For more, we're joined by eSafety Commissioner Julie Inman-Grant in the studio. Commissioner, it's a big day for you, for families right across the country. What should we expect from today's rollout?
Well, I'm trying to contain my excitement because it's been one of those years where it feels like it's gone by in a flash, but I've also aged in dog years. But no, it's an exciting day, and we should expect to see all of the 10 age-restricted social media platforms. If they haven't already communicated to under 16 user base, you may see some of these accounts being deactivated or removed. I don't expect that they're all going to magically disappear. There are going to be technology teething issues. It takes a while to replicate through these major systems. Of course, all of these tools that are being deployed are on infrastructure based in the United States.
We're seeing, you know, my son had an Instagram account. It all went down yesterday. He was showing me all that sort of stuff. It seems that the tech giants, even though they were pulled back at first, they are complying with this, right?
Yeah, I mean, the gaze of the world is upon us right now, and sometimes it isn't the regulation or the fines that actually compels them to do the right thing. It is about the reputation and revenue, which is why they push back. And what this effectively means to them is there are 2.5 million 8 to 15-year-olds that they can no longer monetize. So that's where the pushback was. We may see some cases, we may see some blatant noncompliance, but we've got plans for that. And, you know, the action won't be immediate. Tomorrow I'll be issuing about 10 notices to ask them a range of questions so we can collect the baseline data and see how they're progressing.
So there appears to be a bit of a grace period here for these tech companies. When do you start cracking down and issuing fines or consequences if they don't comply?
Well, regulation does take a while. You have to engage with the platforms. We will be monitoring a range of things. I want to give away all of the toolcraft. But we will be able to tell pretty quickly who's doing what they need to be, and this is why we ask them to take a layered approach. We don't want a single point of failure. None of these technologies are perfect, but together, if they're doing age inference and possibly using ID where, not exclusively, but where it's required, and using other methods like parental vouching and then facial age estimation and liveness tests, they should get to a place where they do know who's under 16 and deactivate the accounts.
You know, we're hearing a lot of this is about children's safety. And so I think that's the big conversation. I think a lot of families out there believe they want their kids to be safe. Are you confident these laws are enough to sort of start that process?
Well, this is only one tool in a much broader suite of tools that we have across the Online Safety Act. So what it does lift the age at which an Australian child can have an account from 13 to 16. So what's really significant here is the normative change. Parents will have some backing. They won't need to feel that almost reverse peer pressure that they have to have their kids getting on early because their other friends are. That FOMO goes away. And I do think there is tremendous value in the fact that they will not be exposed to these powerful algorithms and autoplay and snap streaks that are designed to keep them entranced and entrenched. We're powerless to fight against that sometimes.
Yeah.
What chance do our kids have? So this will balance the playing field, and let's hope they're out on the playing field.
That's right.
Can I ask on a personal level, you know, you've been called to defend this in the High Court before US Congress. You have teenagers of your own. How much pressure are you feeling over this?
I'm in the middle of all the wars on multiple fronts. But you know what, I think that empathy is really important, especially what I'm seeing within my own household with 3 teenagers, 3 very different responses. The older one saying, why wasn't this around when I was struggling when I was 13, 14, and 15? The son sort of going, whatever. And my daughter feeling like, you know, this is going to ruin my life, Mom. So,
what do you say to her?
Yeah, how do you cope with your daughter?
No, well, we actually walked through together, and we deactivated her accounts together, so she didn't have that anxiety of waiting to see if it would happen. She's spending the night with her friends. They're deviceless. We watched some movie. We had some popcorn. It was great.
For parents out there whose kids are trying to get around this and, you know, use different apps, stuff like that, what do you say to try and stop that or to have that conversation with their kids?
Yeah, no, I mean, parents are the front lines of defense, but what we've done with this regulation is we put the onus back on the platforms to prevent the circumvention. So to prevent VPN use or what we call recidivism, the creation of fake or imposter accounts, but even age-based spoofing. And we know some kids will get around it, but this is why we're taking a holistic approach. We need to see that the processes and the technologies are working systemically.
Great to have you in this morning, Julie. Thanks so
Julie.
much for your time.